All right, joined by Craig Button. Craig, Cale Makar didn't turn 24 until after the start of the regular season, so he is still indeed eligible for this list. So no surprise to see him at the top of the list. So the real question is, how far is the gap between Makar and the other under 24 prospects?
You put your hands like this, the gap.
I started there. Wrong? Keep going.
We're talking about one of the best 5 players in the NHL, in my view. So, when we start talking about players under the age of 24, it's obvious. It's almost like fantasy hockey when they wouldn't allow you to pick Wayne Gretzky in fantasy hockey.
Should almost not be allowed to pick.
But he is, and so he stands alone at number 1. I mean, you're looking at Norris Trophy winner, Conn Smythe Trophy winner, elite in every single regard. And, you can look at the next players on the list. I mean, he stands alone, like screaming. If we had a quadruple A category, he'd be in the quadruple A category. We didn't do that because, we looked at it this way. Players that might have a triple A designation aren't close to Cale Makar. That's as simple as I can put it.
All right, so that stands out. Something else that stands out when you look at this list, the Dallas Stars have got 3 of the top 8 players on the list, and they're all from that same 2017 draft class. How unique a feat is this from a drafting standpoint?
Okay, so let's look at it from unique and from a drafting point of view. So their first 3 picks in the 2017 draft were Miro Heiskanen, Jake Ottinger, and then Jason Robertson.
All turned out okay.
Okay, but if you have the first 3 picks and they all turn out okay, that's fantastic, Gino. That is something that you go, hey, we got 3 regulars in the draft. If you get 3 regulars in your first 3 picks out of the NHL draft, you should be doing all kinds of dances and celebrations. But now let's go back a little bit further and let's define what these players. Miro Heiskanen's a number 1 defenseman that controls the game in a significant way. I don't think there's any question he's going to be in the Norris Trophy conversation for a lot of years to come. So you draft. Your first pick is a Norris Trophy guy. Wow. Now let's go to the second pick. Later in the first round, Jake Ottinger. We know what Jake Ottinger has become. He's an elite number 1 goaltender. We're looking at a Vezina Trophy candidate. So now you got a Norris Trophy candidate with your first pick. Now you got a Vezina Trophy candidate with your. You need defensemen, you need goaltenders, and then you get to the second round. Second round, you get Jason Robertson. And, you think about what he's done last year, rookie last year, and then now this season. I mean, an elite, super elite. He's a superstar in the league. Forward that produces points. And, when you start to look at that, so it's great.
Not just points, but goals.
Oh, yeah. 3 players drafted in the first round. I don't think in the first 3 picks of an NHL draft, anybody has ever been able to replicate what the Dallas Stars have done. And I think it will only get better. Jim Nill, the general manager, talked about, when you get 3 players like that, it can be a game changer. It can be a significant factor.
Franchise changer.
But where they were at, are they going to have to retool? Are they going to have to think about maybe another direction? When you get these 3 young players playing for you at that level of play, you can think about your team in a whole different way, and that's how Jim Nill is looking at it, trying to position them to compete for the Stanley Cup now.
Craig, only 3 AAA graded players on this year's list: Cale Makar, Jason Robertson, and Jack Hughes. 2 of the 3 are going to graduate out next year. Who could challenge Jack Hughes for number 1 overall on this list?
The number 5 player on the list this year, Rasmus Dahlin of the Buffalo Sabres. Nick Suzuki's 4, but he ages out, so he's not eligible to unseat Jack Hughes next season. But Rasmus Dahlin is already in Norris Trophy conversations. His play this season has been tremendous for the Buffalo Sabres, and you're the first overall pick. You're looking at a player now that is really realizing that potential that people saw in him. Takes time. Everybody wants things to happen quickly at the snap of a finger, but Rasmus Dahlin is clearly showing, like Jack Hughes, a first overall pick, that, what he can do and what he's capable of doing with just some maturity under his belt. And Rasmus Dahlin, to me, is the guy that absolutely could challenge Jack Hughes next season.
It's always fun to look ahead, and no better person to do that with than our TSN Director of Scouting, Craig Button.